Looks like we have an extra item, 4.1. Consideration of extra item, consideration of public health officer appointment and ratify physician consultation services contract. And so CAO Parker.
Yes, good morning, Board. After your board accepted the resignation of Public Health Officer Eric McLaughlin, I was informed by the Health Services Director, Jonathan Portney, that there was an urgent and immediate need for a public health officer or alternate to provide services and to comply with state regulations. I was still evaluating all our options at the posting of this agenda. And to ensure continuity of services, I temporarily authorized this appointment and contract and bring this before your board for consideration today.
All right. Are there any questions from the board?
I think we need to look up what the urgency is that it needs to be taken up, informed after the posting of the agenda, and it needs to be taken up because it's an urgency. We need to have a public officer, a signer in place.
Yes.
So I'm not hearing anything from the board. Open it up to public input if there's anybody that would like to comment on this, adding this to the agenda. With that, I'll bring it to the board for action.
I make a motion to approve this urgency item as it came up after the posting of the agenda, and it needs to be taken up before our next meeting, which is in 2 weeks.
Second.
So I have a motion to end a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And motion carries. And should we just take this up a little later, or would you like to do this now? We can do it now if you like. Should it be long? No?
I don't believe so, but I don't know. If you have questions. So,
I guess we can take it up right now.
all right. Yes, so after last Tuesday, I began researching our options to retain a public health officer in the interim while we were going to begin our search to replace Dr. McLaughlin. At the same time, I heard from Health Services that there was an urgent need and that they needed a public health officer as soon as possible, which is why I drafted with the assistance of Ms. Grant the contract and made the appointment of Dr. Gary Pace. We recommend today that you do appoint Dr. Gary Pace as PHO through July 31st of 2022 and ratify the contract presented to you today.
All right. Any questions from the board? Supervisor Sabatier?
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm glad this item is on here. Thank you to those that brought it onto the agenda. I have a question about the notice part and then the signature page. And I did not look back at any previous MOUs that we've had with other PHOs that we were in a consulting relationship rather than an employment relationship. But here it only states that all notices, reports, and communications will be given to Public Health Services. And then at the bottom, this is being signed by Public Health Services, and I feel that the PHO is under the jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors, so I'm kind of curious if we can add at least a signature. I don't want to take away anything that's already on there, but if we can add, I think that the notices typically go to the County Administrative Office, which then provides that to the Board of Supervisors. That's typically what I see on contracts. I'm not sure. I'd love to hear what should be there, but I know that our signature, or at least the chair's signature, should be on the signature page. That makes sense to me to do that.
Ms. Grant?
Yes, thank you. If your board determines to approve to ratify the agreement today, a line will be added for the chair to sign, indicating formally that the ratification occurred on this date.
Okay.
All right. As far as notices, your board can adjust the agreement as you deem fit. If you prefer the notices to come to the administrative office directly, that's certainly your call, and you can make that change on the face of the document today.
So those are my only comments and suggestions.
All right.
I agree with both those, making those changes.
Okay.
We have three. So. All right, anything else from the board? Hearing nothing, I'll open it up to the public. Is there anybody that would like to speak on 4.1?
Could you spell the name?
Spell the name of Dr. Pace?
The one you're going to hire? Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Pace. Pace. Gary Pace.
P-A-C-E.
Yes. All right. Looking online to see if there's anyone in Zoom. And I'm not, so I'll bring it back to the board for action.
Mr. Chair, I move to appoint Public Health Officer Dr. Gary Pace and ratify the physician consultation services contract. I
With
think I can do
amendments?
both. With amendments, thank you.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And motion carries.